The protagonist is reborn as a baby, and every time he drinks milk, his strength increases. At just 3 months old, he can already do 10,000 sit-ups. By 4 months, he learns how to crawl, and at 5 months, he starts walking thanks to a game-like cheat system. Any body part he trains can grow endlessly stronger. By 6 months, he's already sitting with his parents watching TV. In short, he's a walking legend who possesses 2 types of powers: mechanical enhancement and mutant evolution. Mechanical enhancement. This ability allows him to strengthen himself through machines. By modifying machinery, his body becomes stronger. Mutant evolution, on the other hand, involves fusing genes from mutated beasts, granting abilities from these hostile creatures that threaten humanity. After the Earth mutated, countless mutant beasts appeared. Around this time, new neighbors moved in next door, bringing along their daughter, Shin Ching-han. She becomes the protagonist's very first friend in this new world, though he has no idea yet how deeply their destinies will be intertwined. As time goes on, their futures become closely connected. By 7 months old, he learns how to run, perform high jumps, and even speak. At 8 months, he obsessively trains his muscles with endless sit-ups. He only dares to work out when his parents aren't around, but eventually, his unusual behavior is noticed. One day, he slips up and gets caught by his mother. She rubs her eyes in disbelief, wondering why her baby is doing sit-ups. In reality, the protagonist quickly pretends to be asleep. His mother assumes she must be hallucinating from watching too many silly short videos. A few days later, while bathing him, she panics and calls her husband. "Our baby is only 8 months old. How does he already have 6-pack abs?" The father is shocked too. Their son already eats like crazy, and now he's ripped as well. Suddenly, the dad has a realization and declares that their son must be an extraordinary genius. He confidently claims that their child has a brilliant future ahead. If he doesn't mutate, he can still undergo mechanical enhancement and rise to the very top. The protagonist secretly sighs in relief, narrowly avoiding exposure. Luckily, his father is a novelist with an overactive imagination, which works in his favor. However, geniuses aren't unique in this world. In the capital, where ancient martial clans have flourished for over 1,000 years, a teenage prodigy has emerged, someone who possessed divine strength at just 2 years old. That prodigy was able to lift a 20-kilogram weight. Seeing this, the protagonist's mother gently pats his head and praises him, believing her son will one day stand shoulder to shoulder with noble families. The protagonist thinks to himself that his mother really sees people clearly, though he doubts whether a 2-year-old lifting 20 kilograms is truly that impressive. Not long after, when he reaches 2 years old himself, he easily lifts the same weight thanks to constant training. At that moment, his mother calls out to him. "Hey, where are you? Ham came to play with you. Come outside already." The protagonist pats his shoulders and walks out, only to see a little girl holding a cake and offering him a piece. He tells her to eat it herself. Despite their mental gap, he allows her to stay and play with him. After all, having her lie on him increases his push-up training efficiency. However, there's one small problem. She sometimes wets herself. Bang. At moments like this, the protagonist can only yell for help. Once again, it seems Ham has exited the stage in dramatic fashion. By the age of 3, the protagonist can effortlessly lift 40 kilograms. Meanwhile, the capital's genius, who is a year and a half older, can only lift 30 kilograms. When the protagonist checks his system interface, he falls into deep contemplation. His creature level is still at the lowest tier. He wonders what level 2 might be like. Would it break human limits? Soon after, for the first time, the protagonist steps outside his home. It's also his first time witnessing people repairing machines and performing gene fusion up close. His first destination is the library. His parents don't want him addicted to electronics, so they believe reading books is the best way to answer his questions. Through reading, he begins to understand this bizarre world. Ancient stone tablets record that the world is divided into 6 creature tiers: common, advanced, rare, elite, legendary, and mythical. Each tier has 9 stages, while ordinary humans are only at common tier, stage 1. Compared to high-level creatures, He's no stronger than an ant. To survive in this dangerous world, he has no choice but to grow stronger. Spirit System Notification. Reading Spirit Book +1, Comprehension +1, Knowledge +1. Achievement unlocked. After accumulating 100 million characters of reading, he receives a creature attribute reward. His innate reading talent is calculated at 10.86 per million characters. The system seems to understand him perfectly. Right after finishing one task, it assigns new ones. He begins training both his body and mind simultaneously, reading while doing sit-ups. By the age of 4, he has already read 43.96 million characters. Soon after, he starts kindergarten like any normal child. Not long later, he smoothly advances. By this stage, the protagonist can lift 80 kilograms with one hand, jump 1.2 meters straight up, and sprint 100 meters in 11 seconds. However, Ham is constantly bullied at school and mocked as the Pea King for wetting the bed. Seeing this, the protagonist jumps onto the podium and shouts, "Everyone shut up. If anyone dares to call him Pea King again, I'll make you pee your pants every day." The other kids burst into tears, while Ham looks at him with pure admiration. Ding! A notification appears. Your intimidating aura has frightened the entire class. Title unlocked. Kindergarten Big Boss. Achievement unlocked. 9 years of compulsory education bone dominance. While the Kindergarten Big Boss title is obtained, the elementary school and high school Big Boss titles remain locked. The protagonist didn't expect that a single shout would trigger a brand new mission, especially when the previous one isn't even finished. It seems multiple missions can overlap. Surprisingly, this turns out to be a good thing. Soon after, he completes the reading mission and gains the creature attribute reward, Hu Kan Tien Nan. The protagonist, Du Nam, continues studying and training tirelessly, striving toward the peak of life. Before long, he and his classmates turn 7 and receive their kindergarten graduation gifts. During the summer vacation before elementary school, he trains without rest, constantly pushing his strength higher, until even a single hand can lift astonishing weights. With a body weight of 200 pounds, the ability to jump over 2 meters and sprint 100 meters in just 8 seconds, along with an extra innate talent boost, the protagonist used his spare time to complete all elementary level coursework. Soon after, he finally entered elementary school for real. Since he had already begun studying middle and high school material, winning school competitions was effortless. However, the rewards didn't impress him much. What he truly wanted was enough points to unlock a legendary skill. At school, he was basically seen as everyone's big brother. Whenever he had time, he would tutor Shin Qinghan. Although Shin Qinghan wasn't a born genius, her obedience and diligence allowed her to rank second in the entire class by the end of the semester. Naturally, first place still belonged to the protagonist. To quickly unlock the Big Brother title, he didn't just focus on academics. He actively participated in every sports competition and shattered all existing school records. Just when he thought that school life continued in a steady rhythm. After graduating from elementary school, a transfer student arrived, someone unusual. She stood out because the protagonist could sense a strange aura around her, something that didn't feel entirely human. Coincidentally, she was assigned to sit right behind him. As she passed by, Shin Qinghan whispered softly, "Little Shun, why does her hair look so beautiful, like a flower blooming in winter?" At that moment, the protagonist had no interest in replying. Ham noticed it too. He couldn't understand why this snow-white girl carried a non-human aura. Was she some kind of genetic hybrid? Or perhaps a descendant of one? Over the following days, Snow White would always fall asleep at her desk after school. At first, everyone was curious about her, but soon she faded into the background. About a month later, something strange happened. Her body began secreting a white substance. No one knew what it was, but the smell was unpleasant. As a result, she became despised by her classmates due to the odor. One boy even crossed the line, dumping water over her head and mocking that he was helping her wash because she smelled too bad. Everyone expected the cold, quiet girl to explode in anger, but instead, she burst into tears. When the bullying continued, she suddenly started laughing hysterically. Ham couldn't bear to watch and hoped the protagonist would step in. Even though he barely knew Snow White, he moved forward. Placing his hand on a boy's shoulder, he said calmly, "Hey, wipe the water off the table. Now, that's Snow White's desk." The boy instantly panicked. "And no problem. I'll clean it right away," he stammered, hurriedly wiping everything down. In this school, the protagonist was known as a little tyrant. No one in 6th grade dared provoke him. He then addressed the class. "Anyone who has bullied Snow White, step forward and apologize. Right now." Terrified, the bullies lined up one by one. "We were wrong. We're sorry. Please forgive us." Snow White stopped crying and thanked both Ham and Nam Chin. From that day on, Shin Ching-han began actively approaching the white-haired girl and even pulled Nam Chin along, wanting to be her friend. Whenever there was tasty food, they always shared it with her first. Eventually, Snow White voiced the doubt she had buried deep inside. "My body smells like this. Don't you hate me?" She added softly, "I'm sorry. It's not that I don't trust you. It's just that ever since I was little, people around me have. I never hated you." For the first time, Snow White felt genuine happiness from having someone by her side. Felt unreal, like a dream. Ham replied gently, "This isn't a dream. I've gone through similar things, so I would never hate you. As long as you want to, we'll always be friends." Dai Ramvong had experienced something similar, so she deeply understood Snow White's pain. Overwhelmed, Snow White hugged Ham tightly, tears streaming down her face. Thank you both." Then she loosened the strap around her neck. A pendant hanging from her neck was revealed. Ham, Shaoxin, you always share delicious food with me and treat me as a friend, so I want to give you something too. This is a beast tooth my mom gave me for my birthday last year. I want you to have it. I hope you don't mind, and I hope we can stay friends forever." Ham carefully accepted the beast tooth and smiled brightly. "We'll always be friends." Just as Shin Ching-han believed their bond would last forever, something unexpected happened. One day, the mechanic who repaired machines arranged for Snow White to transfer schools. The protagonist also overheard the principal mention that her records were classified, confirming that Snow White was far from ordinary. After that day, he never saw her again. Perhaps she was merely a fleeting presence in his life. However, unlike Snow White's sudden departure, what followed truly captured his attention. Keeping a close watch on Shindongjingdu, by the age of 12 he had already, after successfully completing gene fusion, the prodigy could now lift half a ton with just one hand. This completely shocked the protagonist, so young, yet already capable of gene fusion. Previously, that prodigy could only lift 100 kilograms with one hand, but after fusion, his strength instantly jumped to 500 kilograms, increasing fivefold. However, the protagonist was only 8 years old, and even before gene fusion, he could already lift 300 kilograms with one hand. This meant his potential was far more terrifying. With this realization, the protagonist began forming plans for the future. He still felt hopeful, until he saw the news and truly understood what fear meant. In a neighboring country, a mutated beast attack had occurred. According to footage captured by a cameraman, a giant mutated rat appeared. A young girl was caught in its claws and swallowed whole. Even worse, further investigation revealed that cult members were behind the incident, secretly orchestrating and supporting the attack. Soon after, a Japanese spokesperson appeared before the cameras. He appealed to other nations for assistance, calling for a joint effort to wipe out the cult. This so-called cult was an anti-human organization, humans who had become hunting dogs for mutant beasts, attacking their own kind in exchange for benefits. Fortunately, the protagonist was born in a powerful country with a relatively stable environment, allowing him to grow safely. However, late that night, a loud explosion echoed outside his window. Rushing out, he saw massive machines flying away, creations of the state mobilizing into action. The next morning, as he waited to go to school with Ham, he noticed the item by Shue had given them glowing faintly. He quickly realized it was a tooth from a mutated beast. No wonder Bai Shue carried such an inhuman aura. It likely originated from this tooth. As they headed to school, memories of the strange flying machines and the glowing tooth filled him with unease. Something bad was definitely coming. As the two walked along the road, a red-haired woman suddenly stopped them. "Hey kids, want to play some fun games?" she asked, then casually questioned whether they were siblings. Ham answered honestly without hesitation. The woman continued, "You're out alone? Where are your parents?" Sensing danger, the protagonist immediately pulled Ham away. "It's late. Don't waste time here." Once they reached school, he warned Ham seriously. "If strangers ask questions, don't answer them so easily." Ham nodded in understanding. After school, the protagonist deliberately chose a different route home. However, while passing through a narrow alley, they ran into the same woman again. Despite changing paths, she had been following them the entire time. Smiling, she said, "Kid, I've got some good food at my place. Want to come over?" A man stood behind her. Then suddenly, without saying a word, the man rushed forward, trying to grab them. But the protagonist had already prepared himself. With a single punch to the man's chest, he sent him flying like a cannonball, crashing hundreds of meters away. The woman froze in disbelief. How is that possible? How can a little elementary school kid knock down an adult? Before she could react, the protagonist lunged forward and smashed his fist into her face. Then he grabbed a brick and advanced toward them. There were no surveillance cameras nearby. If things got messy, they could only pay compensation again. The protagonist didn't want that. If these people talked, his strength would be exposed. He had been hiding his abilities, keeping a low profile to grow stronger in secret. Just then, the ground began to tremble, followed by horrifying roars. He looked up and saw a massive mutant rat standing before them, its mouth opening wide. The beast bit down, tearing the woman's upper body apart, then grabbed the man, holding one prey in each claw while chewing slowly. Without hesitation, the protagonist grabbed Ham and sprinted away with all his strength. Fortunately, before they got too far, a modified combat robot descended from the sky. Hovering above the mutant rat, the operator raised her hand and began charging her weapon, carefully aiming at the mutant rat. A powerful cannon blast was fired. The explosion slammed into the beast, leaving it disoriented. Moments later, the machine-repairing woman swung her weapon again, completely finishing it off. After returning home safely, the protagonist reviewed the battle. That woman wasn't particularly skilled. She first used artillery to stun the beast, then took 7 full minutes to kill it. The battle was over. Mutant rats were incredibly dangerous. Fully grown ones could reach 4 meters in length and were mid-tier, 5th-rank creatures. Luckily, someone had arrived just in time yesterday, allowing the protagonist to escape safely. Still, he understood that relying on others wasn't enough. His own strength mattered most. From that day on, he trained even harder. System notification. Squad members gain bonus stamina and strength. Squad leader bonus activated. Soon after, the protagonist and Ham celebrated their 9th birthday. Then, while making birthday wishes, they exchanged gifts. The protagonist gave Ham a hair clip, something he had crafted one night while enhancing his innate talents. Time passed quickly, and before they knew it, they had both graduated. At that moment, the system announced that the elementary Big Brother title had been unlocked. He was now close to unlocking the middle school Big Brother title, which granted the big fish eats small fish attribute. As the high school break approached, he decided to accelerate his progress. High school boss mode was activated to rapidly increase strength. Every day he trained relentlessly. System notification. 1,000 weighted push-ups completed. Blood flow plus 2,000. Arm strength plus 2,000. Chest strength plus 2,000. Push-up mastery plus 1,000. Just before the new semester began, his character level reached 3rd year high school. All physical stats surged dramatically, yet he continued pushing himself without pause. Meanwhile, the prodigy from the capital was closely monitored. At 14 years old, he could lift 2,000 pounds with one hand. His power came from ant genes, granting a 4 to 8-fold strength boost. Even at the lowest estimate, he could still lift 400 pounds one-handed. Compared to him, the protagonist realized he was actually stronger. The thought made him even more excited. If he began fusing abilities in the future, just how powerful would he become? With that in mind, his high school life continued. Let's begin. As the top-ranked elementary student in the entire city, the protagonist immediately caught the attention of the principal from the city's best high school. After some discussion, he agreed to enroll in Sunhai High School, but only on one condition, that Shin Qinghan could continue studying there with him. On the day of registration, both the principal and the homeroom teacher personally came to welcome him, encouraging him to work hard and bring honor to the school. After exchanging a few formal pleasantries, the male lead found an excuse and left. Heading back, the real reason they chose Sunhai High School was its excellent training facilities. After enrolling, he and Ham agreed to play badminton together. However, not long after they started, an unwelcome group appeared. An upperclassman walked over arrogantly and said, "You're new here, right? This court is reserved for seniors." Two other upperclassmen nearby began mocking Ham. At that moment, the protagonist's expression darkened. "Hey, seniors, back off a little, will you? First come, first served. Do I really need to explain that?" The upperclassman sneered, acting superior. "Who says that rule exists? Even if the school champion shows up today, this court is mine." Without saying another word, the protagonist tossed the shuttlecock high into the air and smashed it straight at him. The shuttlecock flew faster than sound, slamming directly into the racket and striking the upperclassman's head. The three of them froze in shock. The speed. Is he even human? Could he be some kind of hybrid? There's no way someone this young should be that strong. If they fought him, their skulls would probably be crushed. Terrified, the three quickly lined up and bowed deeply. "Boss, we were wrong." After apologizing, they immediately fled. From that moment on, word spread throughout the school, and no one dared provoke the protagonist again. In class, since he had already completed the entire high school syllabus, he simply spent lessons reading extra books for leisure. After evening training sessions, he would also go online to learn new skills. With US supernatural enhancement, he gradually mastered photography, cooking, driving, swimming, wilderness survival, and more. To quickly unlock the Junior High Mini Overlord title, he not only ranked first academically but also led the school to victory in major competitions such as mathematics, physics, chemistry, and computer science. The only reason he didn't dominate every subject was because he didn't want too much attention. Before long, the first semester ended, yet the title still hadn't unlocked. His outstanding performance attracted the admiration of countless girls, but he paid little attention to such things. Aside from helping Shun Qinghan with her studies, he focused on preparing for the school sports meet. He believed that winning major athletic awards might unlock the high school boss title. For this event, he only participated in shot put, high jump, and sprinting, three events that tested different aspects of physical ability. Strength, endurance, and speed. Mastering these three meant true physical dominance. Even though he deliberately restrained himself to keep things realistic, first place in every event was effortless. The moment he claimed all the gold medals, a powerful surge flowed through his body. The system announced that his academic and athletic achievements ranked first in the entire school, leaving everyone utterly stunned. Title unlocked, Junior Overlord. Completion of 9 years of compulsory education rewarded the attribute, Big Fish Eats Small Fish. The system explained that his life source now stood above others. By devouring other life forms, he could continue evolving. Stroking his chin, Zishin pondered what life essence truly meant. Suddenly, Tanham ran up from behind and called out, "Zishin, wait for me." His eyes widened. "That's it." Zishin raised his finger and pointed forward. Turning to her, he asked, Ham, can I borrow your monster tooth for a moment?" Without hesitation, she removed the necklace and handed it to him. Zishin froze. The system notified him that it had absorbed a trace of primal life essence from the abyssal giant butterfly. The progress bar showed 1%. Once it reached 100%, attributes or skills from the rare beast could be evolved. He was shocked. Was this really a butterfly tooth? At the very least, now that he knew the name of the creature, he thought he might find information online. Zishin searched on the computer, but the result only read, "No abyssal giant butterfly found." Unease crept into his heart. Did such a creature truly not exist? It seemed the only way to understand this strange beast was to rely on himself. Zishin quickly took out another tooth-shaped pendant from his backpack. Right, luckily, Bai Shui had given him two. He clenched it tightly and began to absorb it. A stream of spiritual energy surged forth. The system displayed, "You have absorbed a fragment of life force from the deep abyss bone. Deep abyss bone progress, 2%. He exhaled sharply. Only 2%? Looks like there's not much life energy left in these bones. If I want to fully unlock it, I'll need another method. Soon, a new school day arrived. To increase his daily training, Zishin began cycling to school, giving Tanham a ride along. If only he could encounter that mutant rat again. A giant mutation like that would provide massive life essence. As he walked, a voice suddenly stopped him. It belonged to a classmate known as Grim Reaper. A middle-aged man approached and said, "I'm Coach Gua from the school's martial arts team. Your performance at the sports meet was the best in this school's history. I'd like to invite you to join the martial arts team. Your physical talent surpasses even your academic ability. I sincerely hope you'll accept. Of course, you can take time to learn more about the team before deciding." Zishin stood there momentarily stunned. Coach Gua's rapid speech didn't even give him a chance to refuse. The coach waved as he walked away, adding, "Room C in the school gym is the martial arts team space. If you're free tomorrow, be sure to come. I'll be waiting." Soon after, golden sunlight bathed the city. Suddenly, a sharp clap echoed. Zishin looked up. Looking down, he saw the crushed insect in his palm and realized that ordinary flies and mosquitoes couldn't trigger the strong prey-weak survival ability. Only powerful mutant creatures possessed enough original life force to be devoured. After thinking this through, he reached for his phone. Zishin quickly hopped on his bike and rode off, Tanham seated behind him. Deep in thought, he planned to test his theory. With that decided, he headed toward the supermarket to sell. They went to the mall to check whether any kind of beast meat was available. Before long, they arrived at a downtown supermarket. Zishin picked up a tray of meat and stroked his chin thoughtfully. There was plenty of animal meat on display, but everything was prepackaged, making it impossible to verify his theory through direct contact. Just as he was hesitating, a voice rang out, "Fresh meat being cut. Please choose what you want." What caught his attention was a sign nearby, "Freshly hunted wild meat, not pre-processed. Don't worry, just eat your fill." Zishin felt a quiet thrill rise in his chest. There it was, the shop owner was slicing fresh meat on the spot. He immediately walked over and said, Ham, wait for me here. I'll check out that piece of meat." She looked at him in confusion, only managing a soft, "Huh." Zishin's eyes gleamed as he hurried toward the fresh meat. Ham might have felt a little uncomfortable, but he didn't bother explaining. The answer he wanted was right in front of him. Just then, the instant he touched it, a strange surge of energy rushed through him. He was right. Beast meat truly contained a strong life force. Seeing his excitement, Tanham grew curious. "Are you okay? You're just touching meat. Why are you so excited?" She paused, then asked, "Does beast meat feel different from normal meat?" Zishin scratched his head and laughed. "Not really, it just feels fresher." "Want to try touching it?" Tanham asked. He waved his hand in refusal. No need. Just touching it is enough." Turning his head away, Zishin added, "Since we're already here, let's buy some to try." He looked down at the trays below and finally understood why Ham looked so shocked. Wild beast meat was extremely expensive. Even the cheapest Shadow Devil squid cost nearly 1,000 yuan per gene. Zishin picked up a tray. "Let's buy this one. Shadow Devil squid." Tanham grew anxious and reminded him softly, "Zishin, this is way too expensive. Why didn't you ask Auntie first before deciding to buy it?" Zishin reached out and gently patted her head. "Don't worry. My mom already told me to buy extra when I go shopping. He recalled Han's words clearly. If you're buying wild meat, get a few extra kilos. Invite Ham over to try it too. I'll transfer the money to you. Then he pointed at her and added, she's planning to make a big wild meat feast for both our families. She just wants everyone to eat together. But there was another reason he bought the meat. He worried that directly absorbing primal life force might spoil it. Of course, that was only a hypothesis, so Zishin needed to test it using the meat he bought. The cashier scanned the code. Hello, 3 kilograms of shadow devil squid. Total 2,995 yuan. Thank you for your purchase. Zishin carried the bag in one hand and pressed the other to his chest, silently complaining about the insane prices and wondering when he'd ever afford this again. Meanwhile, by the time they finished shopping, it was already past 9 p.m. With things being unstable lately, getting home early felt safer. The two headed straight back. While riding his bike, Zishin reached toward the tray of squid in the basket. Even on the road, he couldn't wait to confirm his theory. It was time to see the result. Instantly, spiritual energy burst forth. The system notified him that he had devoured a trace of the shadow devil squid's original life force. The squid's progress bar reached 0.1%. He quickly continued pedaling with Tonham riding behind him. As they traveled down the quiet street, Zishin calculated silently. Consuming just 10 grams of the shadow devil squid's life essence only increased progress by 0.1%. To reach 100%, he would need to consume 100 kilograms. At 998 yuan per kilogram, that totaled nearly 100,000 yuan. The squid's ability allowed it to dissolve into water and vanish completely. If he could obtain that skill, the cost would be worth it. And this was already the cheapest beast meat available. Decision made, now he just needed to find a way to earn the money. That was far too much to ask from his family. The original purpose of buying the meat was to see whether absorbing life force would ruin it. Since the meat had already been sitting for a while, the results should show soon. It seemed absorbing primal life energy didn't spoil the meat at all. Great news. Suddenly, the system notified him, Shadow Devil Squid progress, 3%. Seeing him distracted, Tonham warned, careful, Zishin. Someone's ahead. Hearing that, the bike slammed to a stop. Zishin wobbled and nearly crashed into a young couple, quickly bowing in apology. I'm so sorry, really sorry. He scratched his head, blaming himself for focusing too much on absorbing life energy and forgetting to watch the road. But why was the bike lane so crowded? Tonham pointed ahead. Zishin, look. There's a foreign woman. A thug's holding a knife to her neck. The man shouted threateningly, don't come closer, or I'll kill her. The police were already on the scene. An officer aimed a gun at the suspect. You're surrounded. Stay calm and put the weapon down. The captain warned sternly, a bin. Don't fire recklessly. It's too close. That man is experienced. He's using the hostage as a shield and keeps moving. A careless shot could hurt the hostage. The suspect acted as though dragging things out would only increase danger. Someone suggested, should we use gas? The captain's expression hardened. No, gas is not an option. It was far too conspicuous. If it angered the criminal before it worked, it could easily provoke a desperate reaction. Suddenly, someone bent down, picked up a stone, and hurled it forward. The rock shot straight past them and, in the blink of an eye, struck the thug's knife hand. The captain immediately shouted orders to move in now. The officers rushed forward and quickly restrained the suspect. Standing behind them, Tonham looked confused. Little. Hey, that rock just now was thrown by you, right? Your body reacted. Hurry up and leave, an officer whispered, but the captain stopped them loudly. Wait, was that stone thrown by you? Zishin jolted, turned around, and waved his hands in denial. Not me. Then the two of them, suddenly nervous, bolted away at full speed. Zishin felt puzzled. Why do a good deed and then deny it? There's even a cash reward for acts of bravery. The words cash reward instantly lit up Death's eyes. He froze, then immediately turned the bike around and rushed back to the captain. Swallowing his pride, he smiled awkwardly and confessed, I just remembered. That stone was actually thrown by me. He didn't really want to admit it, but the money mattered too much. Tonham struggled to catch up. Little Shen, why are you going back? Wait for me, he said, making a deal to file the report first with the officer, then claim the reward. After that, he and Tonham informed their families they were heading to the station. They parked their bikes in the nearby park, locked them up, and prepared to head to the police station to give their statements and collect their first paycheck. Everything seemed normal. Then the unexpected happened. The kidnapper suddenly went berserk, his body twisting and swelling. He mutated into a monstrous form, sending shock through the officers. This was bad. He was a cult fanatic. His mutation accelerated, transforming him into a giant rat. The freak lunged and grabbed a nearby female officer. The captain grabbed his radio and shouted orders. All units, focus fire on the mutated rat. Protect civilians at all costs. Report to headquarters. A giant mutated rat has appeared in West Zhongbei Park. Preliminary judgment, heretic infected with the Rat King's curse. We can't handle this alone. Request immediate reinforcements. Death pulled the two girls close, thinking, I'm in trouble. He instantly dashed away at lightning speed. He might have offended people earlier, but survival came first. Luckily, they weren't pursued. They needed to be faster. At that moment, a girl in iron armor streaked overhead, making Zishan pause. She landed a powerful kick squarely on the mutant rat, blasting it backward several meters. Immediately, purple energy gathered around her as she shouted, Laser cannon charging. The moment she yelled fire, a barrage of energy slammed into the beast before it could react. Direct hit. In an instant, the mutated rat disappeared, leaving only drifting dust in the air. Death stood stunned. This was seriously powerful. Thankfully, his bike wasn't destroyed, or the loss would have been painful. Strawberry let out a long breath. That's great, we're safe. Tonham smiled awkwardly. Yeah. Suddenly, Zishan's eyes widened. Wait, did the meat go bad already? It seemed that after absorbing original life force, meat could still spoil, just more slowly. As for why the meat spoiled, the blame clearly fell on the heretic. Zishan fumed, throwing the meat to the ground and cursing the cultist. The mechanical robot's attack had been too intense, scorching it completely. Tonham comforted him from behind. It's okay, little Shin. We're lucky we're safe. They had planned to go home, but at the captain's request, all three boarded a security vehicle and returned to the station to assist with the report. The heretic's body, struck by the laser cannon, still had charred remains, and the stench was overwhelming. Zishan suddenly realized something. That's right. The Jiangnan beast still had traces of original life force. That means there should still be some left in the body. So, doesn't that mean I can absorb the Rat King's envy from it? Sitting in the car, he fell into deep thought. A freshly mutated heretic. How much Rat King envy could he consume? He wouldn't know unless he tried. Zishan lightly extended a finger and touched the crimson residue. Instantly, his entire body tensed. The system notified him, You have absorbed a portion of the original life essence from the giant mutant rat. Giant mutant rat progress. 5%. Zishan was shocked. That much? Looks like the fresher it is, the more life essence can be absorbed. A bin, sitting nearby, glanced over and warned, Hey, sit still and hold tight. Don't move around. Zishan pretended to stretch. Bro, don't misunderstand. I've just been sitting too long. Stretching a bit. He stayed extremely cautious. A bin might be easy to fool, but the captain was far sharper. At the security office, the captain spoke up. I've already submitted your bravery award application. But be honest with me. How could a high school student hit the handle of a cultist's knife from that distance? And in such low light? Death hurried to explain. Min added, Maybe it's because he practices with his right hand all the time. The captain crossed his arms, studying the forced smile before him. At that moment, Tonham opened the door and called out, Little Shun, it's time to go home. Zishan turned, startled. Mom? Why are you here? We can get home ourselves. Tears filled Wan Han's eyes as she rushed forward and hugged him tightly. Are you hurt? You scared me to death. Zishan quickly reassured her. Mom! Mom! Don't worry so much. I'm fine, see? I even got a bravery reward. Wan Han gripped his hand tightly. Sweetheart, promise me. If you're ever in danger again, hide somewhere safe first. Okay? All I want is for you to grow up safely. Zishan had no choice but to gently guide her outside and calm her. Don't worry, Mom. I promise I'll always put my safety first. As he stepped out, he overheard a conversation. It was between two female officers. Those cult rats are getting bolder. Now they're even sneaking into colleges and universities, mainly targeting cultural students who haven't officially qualified yet and tricking them into joining. The person shot tonight was a culture student from Kwang Nam University, completely brainwashed by the cult. Damn it, we have to wipe out all these cult rats. This kind of response only treats the symptoms, not the root cause. The Rat King still has to be eliminated. Only a self-proclaimed god can remain. Zishan's expression grew heavy with doubt. The Rat King? There was quite a bit of information online about the Rat God cult. Their main stronghold was said to be in Sun Hai City, and most of their believers were societal outcasts. Had they really become more active this year? Resting his chin on his hand, he stared at his phone thoughtfully. Suddenly, Zishan's eyes widened, as if he had just discovered something important. In his mind, a scene appeared, countless people kneeling before the Rat King. Lost in thought, he wondered, was the Rat King trying to evolve into a higher existence, sending its followers out to gather massive resources for that purpose? Could the Rat King have already developed intelligence? A giant mutated rat. How could it possibly grow that large? Was it related to the Rat King? No, forget it. This was the South. Rats as big as cats weren't that unusual here. But then he noticed something odd. Why had Ham Ham suddenly gone quiet? Could it be that situation again? Whenever Ham Ham felt anxious or stressed, she reacted just like she did as a child, completely unable to hold it in. Zishan had always felt that her condition might be linked to some hidden potential. Not long after, Wan Han rushed in, pale and flustered. What? The meat is gone. Zishan scratched his head and laughed awkwardly. Everything happened so fast earlier. I didn't even notice. I thought I'd definitely lost it. She sighed. Forget it. As long as you're safe, that's all that matters. The meat is gone, so be it. Hearing this, Zishan finally let out a long breath of relief. That was close. Barely got away with it. He walked over to his father and said seriously, Dad, it's really dangerous out there. Things aren't peaceful at all. Gonsin tried to brush it off. It's fine. Your dad is tough. You know that. Zishan quickly warned him. Even if you manage to get beast meat, it'll just spoil anyway. Dad. His father scratched his cheek and looked surprised. How do you know that? Zishan replied awkwardly. Just a guess. Meanwhile, at the police station, the captain puffed on a cigarette, muttering. How could a middle school kid throw a stone with that much force? Suddenly, he froze. His eyes widened as he saw a massive rat perched on top of the filing cabinet. He stumbled back in shock. Where did this rat come from? Is it really this huge? The mutated rat locked onto him and leapt down instantly. The captain instinctively drew his gun and fired. Moments later, fresh blood spread across the floor. Scene cut back to the classroom, where Zishan sat writing something down, then sighed softly. All right. Closing his eyes, he mentally placed the squid and the bravery reward on a scale. Compared to the vampire and the female combat robot from last night, he was still far too weak. It seemed he needed to make money quickly to fill the progress bar and unlock the devil squid completely. But relying on scholarships from academic competitions was far too slow. Becoming an online top student and selling study guides? That would bring money fast, but it was too eye-catching. No, that wasn't right. This world was full of people who enhanced themselves through mechanical and genetic modifications, many of whom focused on martial arts rather than academics. And in this world, the prize money for martial arts competitions far exceeded that of other fields. It was time to take action. Cut to the gym's training room. Coach Guo was sipping hot tea when Zishan walked in and raised his hand in greeting, nearly making the coach choke. "Hey, Coach Guo." The coach laughed. "Zishan, are you here to officially join? Or just to learn more about the martial arts team?" Zishan leaned closer and whispered, "I want to know. If I join the martial arts team, will I get a chance to compete in city-level tournaments? And is the prize money good?" Coach Guo raised a hand confidently. "Of course. Not only will you get the chance, but the prize money is generous, at least tens of thousands." Zishan didn't hesitate. He grabbed the coach's hand and made his decision on the spot. "Coach, I've thought it through. Starting today, I'm officially joining the martial arts team." Coach Guo looked surprised for a moment, then smiled warmly. "Welcome aboard." Then Coach Guo called everyone together. "Team, gather up. We have a new member today. I'm sure you all know him, the Grim Reaper student. Our school's sports champion is joining the martial arts team. Why don't you introduce yourselves?" One by one, the members spoke. "I'm Zhang Kai. I'm Tian Hang, 9th grade, class 3. Call me a Hang. I'm Thursday Dong from class 6-9. Everyone calls me Little Lee. I'm not Satch, but just call me Satch." Standing in front of them, Zishan said calmly, "I'm Lam Zishan. I look forward to learning from all of you." Since he had never formally trained in martial arts, Coach Guo began with basic punches and kicks. Wiping sweat from his forehead, the coach reminded him, "Don't underestimate these simple moves. They're harder than they look." Even Little Lee, the fastest learner here, needed an entire week to get them down. "Come on, try them out." Zishan carefully repeated the techniques he'd just seen. Coach Guo then demonstrated more advanced movements. Zishan immediately activated Tian Run Hui Gon. The system notified him, "Boxing training in progress. Blood energy +1, arm strength +1, arm flexibility +1, boxing proficiency +1. From that point on, every move he made was fluid and precise, with his stats increasing steadily. Coach Guo stared in disbelief, mouth hanging open. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. How could someone learn this just by watching once? Unless this kid was a once-in-a-millennium martial arts genius. Night soon fell over the brightly lit city. Wanhan lifted her spatula and called out, "Little Shen, hurry up and get the bowls and chopsticks ready." Zishan rushed in like a descending god. "What's for dinner tonight, Mom?" She placed the dish on the table and smiled. "Of course, it's that devil squid you've been thinking about." "There you go." Zishan inhaled deeply, savoring the aroma. "Wow, it smells amazing. Stop smelling it and eat while it's hot," Wanhan urged. Zishan took a bite without hesitation. She asked eagerly, "How is it?" He immediately praised her. "Mom, your cooking is the best in the world." She laughed, rubbing his head. "Then eat more. I bought 3 whole kilos. System notification. You have devoured a portion of life essence. Devil Squid Ink progress, 3.01%. Zishan was stunned. So he could absorb it just by eating? If he'd known earlier, he wouldn't have bothered touching it directly. After dinner, he went to the living room and turned on the news. The host was introducing a nationally famous teenage prodigy. At just 14, she had successfully fused an energy core into her heart, becoming the youngest cyborg in history. Once activated, she could lift a 2,000-kilogram off-road vehicle with one hand and sprint 100 meters in only 3 seconds. She could leap straight up nearly 8 meters from a standstill. Zishan rested his chin in thought. Back then, there was the prodigy in Dongjing capital, and now this young genius girl. So who's really stronger? The hybrid? Or the machine? The news abruptly switched topics with grim updates. Security Captain Ha Xian-sun had died in his office at 11 p.m. the previous night. Surveillance footage showed a giant rat sneaking into the security office and killing him. Zishan froze in disbelief. Could it have been the same giant rat from last night? No, that couldn't be. I need to manage my time better and train harder. After a period of intense practice, Zishin's 100-meter sprint dropped to 4.61 seconds. His vertical jump reached 5.51 meters, and he could now lift nearly 1,000 kilograms with one hand. He also kept up with martial arts training, determined to grow stronger as quickly as possible in preparation for upcoming competitions. Before long, dawn arrived, and he headed to school like any other day. That morning, Zishin entered the training room. They continued learning new techniques and drilling martial arts basics. Curious, Tanham tagged along to watch. Suddenly, a young girl approached and struck up a conversation. "Hey, little Grim Reaper's disciple. You haven't had breakfast yet, right? I brought you some milk. It's fresh." Zishin brushed past her calmly. "No thanks. I appreciate the thought." Seeing this, another guy burned with jealousy. Damn it. He already stole my championship at the sports meet. And now he's rejecting a gift from the goddess herself. Angry, he rushed forward to block Zishin's path. "Hold on. Don't you have any manners? If you don't want to drink it, at least accept it and pass it to someone else, like me. Why embarrass people like that?" Zishin replied casually. "Isn't that even ruder?" The guy was speechless. "Fine. Then just drink it. If you refuse, that's disrespectful. And disrespect is rude." Zishin answered calmly. "I'm allergic to milk." The guy scoffed. "No way. I don't believe you. Grim Reaper, do you dare fight me? If I lose, I'll never say another word to you. But if I win, you drink all the milk." The system notification appeared. Official duel triggered. Defeat 1,000 opponents using the most primitive biological methods to unlock the natural selection trait. Current eliminations exceeded 1,000. Zishin grinned inwardly. "I've waited forever, finally, the fourth achievement mission." "All right." Zishin raised his hand, eyes sharp with intent. "Let's do it." Two female students pulled each other excitedly. "I heard Lam Zishin is fighting a senior in the gym." "Really? Let's go watch." The gym quickly filled, forming a wide circle. Before the match began, someone called out, "Junior Zishin, I'll be cheering for you. Show him who's boss. Teach him a lesson. Go, little brother. Give it your all. I'll take tons of photos." The atmosphere irritated Zhang Kai. Did everyone really think he was going to lose? He smirked. This was his chance to teach this arrogant genius a lesson. The kid's growth in just 1 month was terrifying. If he didn't act now, he'd never show his own strength. Zishin, meanwhile, said casually, "I still need to go home for dinner. Can we make this quick?" Zhang Kai sneered. "Fine by me." Coach Guo raised his hand. "Remember, friendship first. Everything else comes second. Begin." Just as he signaled, Zhang Kai interrupted. "Wait," he added smugly. "You've trained for a month. I've trained for nearly 2 years. To be fair, I'll let you attack first 3 moves." Zishin moved the instant he spoke. His fist shot forward like a bullet before Zhang Kai could react, smashing squarely into his face. Blood sprayed as he collapsed to the ground, unconscious, foam at his mouth. Coach Guo froze. "What? 1 punch?" The surrounding students stared in shock. "That's it? It's over already?" Only Tanham cheered happily. "We won, Zishin. Victory." The girls erupted in applause. The Grim Reaper Jr. was just too cool. Zishin focused on the system update. Priority rights confirmed. Defeat 999 more opponents to unlock the natural selection survival trait. He smiled innocently and looked around. "Senior brothers, why don't we take this chance to spar a little?" The group of guys instantly turned pale and scattered with excuses. "I've got extra classes. My mom told me to come home early. I need the bathroom. I'll walk you there. I feel dizzy. I'll help him to the infirmary." As chaos broke out, Zhang Kai struggled to stand. "I'm not satisfied. You hit me from behind. Try that again and I'll crush you." Coach Guo scolded him sharply. Zhang Kai accepted defeat. That punch was either luck or perfect placement. Testing strength, huh? Then let Xiao Lizi try. At the call of his name, Xiao Lizi jumped. Me. With no choice, he stepped forward. Junior, please don't hit my face. 10 minutes later, Zishin merely exchanged moves for show. Apart from the progress gained from defeating Zhang Kai, the others gained nothing from losing. Zishin fell silent. If you keep avoiding it, nothing changes. You still have to face them head-on. Coach Gua suddenly appeared, startling him. Genius fighter, you really are a genius. You've only been on the team a little over a month, yet you're already our ace. He grabbed Zishin's hands excitedly. With you, Sun High Middle School will take first place at this year's district martial arts competition. Thank you. Zishin finally understood. Joining official martial arts competitions meant defeating many opponents directly, perfect for completing his mission faster. As he calculated quietly, a loud voice cut in. Lam Zishin. Despite losing badly, Zhang Kai tried to act tough. I accept defeat. From now on, no matter what dirty tricks you pull on me, I won't say another word to you. That sentence stunned everyone present, their faces turning pale. In the next instant, they all scattered in a hurry, leaving no chance for him to stop them. Wait, I'm not finished yet. In this world, high school students either pursue martial arts or focus on academics. And without question, martial arts is the top choice everywhere. While running, Tonham stayed close behind him. Little God, wait for me. I'm almost catching up. You've probably noticed. I've already started training to enter the martial arts class. After running 3,000 meters, he would train in martial arts for an hour to refine his techniques. Then came sit-ups and push-ups to build strength and endurance. After every session, he helped Shin Qinghan massage and relax her muscles. But with the martial arts competition approaching, Zishin couldn't afford to relax. To awaken his innate talent as quickly as possible, he had to push himself to the absolute limit. 1 month later, the day of the competition finally arrived. It was finally here. The massive city sports arena was packed, with countless spectators watching. Inside the athletes' lounge, Coach Gua studied the information board. Sun High Middle School had drawn the strongest possible opponent, Sun High Middle School number 1. Zhang Kai had gathered plenty of intel, but the more he learned, the more discouraged he felt. This year, their rival school had a runner who could complete 100 meters in under 9 seconds. We're definitely going to get crushed. While morale was low, Zishin stepped forward. He volunteered to go first. With no other option, Coach Gua agreed. All right, let Zishin go first. Even before the match began, 2 people were already cheering him on at the top of their lungs. On the stage, Zishin rolled his shoulders to loosen up. Tonham leaned in close. The coach believed in him. Tonham jumped excitedly. Zishin, hang in there. On the opposing side, a massive figure stomped forward, shaking the arena. Before the fight, he offered Zishin a remark. I saw your name on the list. You're just a beginner, yet you're already stepping into an alliance tournament with 8 schools. Not bad, you've got potential. But this isn't the place for you. You're only a first-year middle school student, not even 1.7 meters tall. I'll show you the difference in size and skill. Once the introductions ended, the referee signaled the start. The opponent lunged forward in a flash, only to be the one shocked instead. Lucky you dodged that. What? Zishin had merely brushed his opponent's chest without exerting force, then casually pushed him away with one hand. Even so, the man flew backward. The referee stared in disbelief and immediately announced, Lam Zishin wins. Tonham raised her arms in celebration. Zishin, you're amazing. Teammates erupted in cheers. Zishin is the best. Meanwhile, someone watching below clenched their teeth. That so-called dead muscle technique was supposed to be unstoppable, yet it had proven completely useless. The opposing coach scolded his fighter. Movement is everything. I've told you countless times. In martial arts, don't rush blindly. Use your footwork. Why won't you listen? System notification appeared. Opponent defeated. Your ranking has increased. Total opponents eliminated. 2/1000. The system concluded that defeating opponents in high-stakes competitions significantly accelerates achievement progress. The opposing coach quickly issued orders. Tranfong, you're up. Take down that clueless rookie as fast as possible. Tran Fong nodded. Understood, coach. This time he was far more cautious. Fight start, the referee shouted. Tran Fong moved like a gust of wind. Unfortunately, Zishan dodged effortlessly and countered with the same move as before. Tran Fong spun several times before crashing to the ground. Face first. Felt like a slap to the opponent's pride. The referee rushed over. Get him to the hospital. He may have hit his head badly. The stands exploded with chatter, especially angry bettors. What's going on? How is that Sun High kid so lucky? This has to be rigged. The opposing coach clutched his head in fear. No, this wasn't luck. This can't be luck. That Sun High middle school kid really has skill. He turned sharply. Chao Fei, you're next. Focus on defense. Don't attack recklessly. Under no circumstances can you lose. Chao Fei stepped out confidently. Coach, don't worry. I've got this. He began analyzing. Lam Zishan isn't overwhelmingly strong. He's just fast and knows how to exploit openings. That's why he's been winning. I can run 100 meters in 9 seconds and I have far more combat experience than the others. If I take this seriously, there's no way I'll lose. People around whispered. Looks like that first-year student from Sun High doesn't stand a chance now. But give him time. Sun High Middle School will definitely rise to the top. The referee shouted and the match began. Chao Fei charged forward aggressively. Punch after punch rained down. But Zishan evaded them all with ease. Flowing water, shattering rock fist. The coach yelled angrily, Chao Fei, I told you to defend, not attack. Chao Fei sneered inwardly. Defense? I'm a genius. I don't need that. Zishan observed calmly. Interesting technique. Watch carefully first, then try to copy it. Chao Fei grew increasingly frustrated. Why couldn't he land a single hit? He finally roared. How are you dodging everything? This makes no sense. Zishan replied indifferently. Any other moves? Use them all. Enraged, Chao Fei attacked even harder. Zishan lost interest. Same style over and over. Fine, let's end it. The crowd erupted as Chao Fei was defeated. Only Zishan's team cheered wildly. Little Zishan, amazing job. Dominant. Zishan bulldozed through 3 opponents without breaking a sweat. The next rounds were even easier. Before long, he had defeated all 5 members of Sun High Middle School No. 1. Over the following 2 days, he single-handedly crushed the remaining 2 schools, leading Sun High Middle School to win the championship of the 8-school league tournament. The system announced the results. Total knockouts, 16/1000. Zishan remained determined. There were still 984 opponents left. This natural selection mission would likely take years to complete. Still, he was thrilled. What he hadn't expected was that Coach Guo would give him the majority of the prize money from the tournament, 20,000 yuan. Combined with rewards from academic competitions, he now had around 30,000 yuan in total. But that 30,000 yuan would soon. I was completely exhausted. Yuyan Han prepared the most nourishing dishes for me. Eat slowly, sweetheart. There's still plenty left. The system notified me that the Ink Demon Shadow Formation had reached 33% activation. After consuming 30 kilograms of Ink Demon Shadow meat, the progress jumped straight to 33%. During my second year of middle school, I successfully broke through from level 3 to level 4. Now, I could easily lift 1,090 kilograms with one hand, jump 5.65 meters straight up, and sprint 100 meters in just 4.49 seconds. Time passed quickly, and Tan Ham and I soon graduated from Sun High Middle School. Before long, the results of the high school entrance exams were released. Tan Ham was nervous. Why? I worked so hard, but the results still don't compare to yours. Tu then. Do you think we can still attend the same high school? Tu then explained calmly that he ranked first in the district in both academics and martial arts. Tan Ham's grades were solid, but her martial arts score wasn't high enough for admission into the elite martial arts class at Sun High High School. He wiped away her tears. How would I know? But the principal of Sun High High said he wants to visit my house. Do you want to come with me to meet him? Tonham hesitated. The principal must be here to keep you in the top martial arts class. That has nothing to do with me. Why should I go? Before she could say more, Tu then pulled her along. Don't worry. My only condition for staying at Sun Hai Hai is that I get to sit at the same desk as you. Everyone sat together as the principal of Sun Hai Hai spoke with the family for hours. She expressed her sincere hope that Tu then would continue studying at Sun Hai Hai. In the end, she concluded, We've discussed everything about Tu then. As long as you agree to stay at Sun Hai Hai, whatever you ask for can be arranged. You can just say it directly, the principal added. Hearing this, Tu then immediately pulled Tonham forward. Thank you, principal. I only have one request. I hope Tonham can continue being in the same class as me. The principal smiled and turned to her. You're Tonham, right? When the new semester starts, both of you will register at Sun Hai Hai together. They both nodded eagerly. Thank you, principal. After choosing his high school, Tu then continued entering competitions, and soon, at the final middle school martial arts tournament, it came as no surprise that Death once again led Sun Hai Middle School to an easy championship. Many opponents were defeated by him and couldn't even stand back up. Deep in a distant forest, Death thought to himself that once he collected the prize money, he could finally fulfill his earlier goal. He was only 20% away from unlocking the Ink Demon Shadow tattoo. With this reward money, buying enough meat would no longer be a problem. Advancing the system, the Ink Demon Shadow glyph surged by 80%. Since no one knew what might happen once the glyph was fully unlocked, or whether it could cause uncontrollable consequences, Death deliberately traveled to the mountainous forests around Sun Hai City. Without hesitation, he activated the process. There was no more time to wait. The system appeared. You have devoured a large amount of Ink Demon Shadow's original life essence. His expression shifted in shock and excitement. Ink Demon Shadow glyph, 100%. Successfully unlocked. He obtained the Ink Demon Shadow skill and the biological trait Water Adaptation. Water Adaptation greatly enhanced his affinity with water, allowing free and silent movement underwater. However, then felt a little disappointed. This ability seemed rather underwhelming. He immediately tested it in a nearby pond. After soaking for a long time, he noticed his skin didn't wrinkle at all, and the resistance of water while swimming had clearly decreased. But aside from that, was that all? Well, it made sense. Ink Demon Shadow was still a low-tier creature, not really worth merging with. If he wanted stronger biological traits, he could simply buy them later. It was only a matter of time. Or once he grew stronger, he could hunt mutant beasts and devour them directly. Death clenched his fist, thinking of creatures like the giant mutant rat. A few days later, Death and Tonham went to the seaside, with less than a week remaining before the new school year began. Both families had planned a short trip together. To better study water adaptation, Tu then suggested going to the beach. Tonham hugged herself and said, Tu then, the seawater is really cold. Tu then gently reassured her. The first time is always like this. Take it slow. Once you get used to it, you won't feel cold anymore. System notification. Diving detected. Blood flow, full body muscle strength, muscle coordination, water affinity, oxygen control. All improved by 1 level under water pressure and skill usage. Tonham suddenly protested. Tu then, don't swim alone anymore. Come teach me how to swim. Only then did he realize Ham didn't know how to swim at all. He stopped immediately and began teaching her patiently. Given Tonham's average athletic ability, he assumed it would be difficult. But to his surprise, Tonham swam like a fish. Tu then, swimming is actually that easy. I learned it so fast. Not only that, she could hold her breath underwater for an unusually long time. Then she suddenly realized something. Wait, can I dive too? She suddenly surfaced right in front of him, startling Tu then. Tonham laughed proudly. Tu then, am I amazing or what? I always heard opening your eyes underwater hurts, but I didn't feel anything at all. It felt cool and refreshing. Tu then stared at her, rubbing his chin thoughtfully. Zishan thought to himself, Shun Qinghan's affinity with water is incredible, but there's no way she could master swimming skills this fast. Something feels off. Suddenly, a realization struck him. That's not right. Memories of how she often lost control while swimming flashed through his mind. From Zishan's perspective, could her frequent accidents be related to some kind of innate water-related trait? That was hard to believe. Maybe, in her past life, Shun Qinghan had possessed a special cultivation physique, like those described in Xianxia novels. The two of them continued swimming together. Later, Zishan went diving with Shun Qinghan, and what he saw shocked him even more. They stayed underwater for over 10 minutes. She was a beginner, yet even trained professionals rarely managed that long. Suddenly, Shun Qinghan stiffened, startled by something. Why do I hear a strange sound underwater? She instinctively swam toward the source, and Zishan followed closely, trying to figure out what it was. The two of them quickly moved away from the area. The sea stretched endlessly around them. Zishan asked anxiously, "What happened? Why did you suddenly tense up?" Shun Qinghan explained, "I suddenly heard a really strange sound in my ear. It felt creepy." Zishan frowned. "What kind of sound?" She hesitated before answering. "I'm not sure. It sounded like a woman's voice, almost like a language I couldn't understand. It felt extremely real and kept echoing in my head. It only stopped after I surfaced." Disturbed by the incident, they both focused on calming Shun Qinghan down. Zishan immediately took her back to the hotel. Later, he tried searching online, but couldn't find anything that matched what she described. Unable to sleep, he decided to train instead. System notification. 1,000 weighted sit-ups completed. Blood circulation plus 2,000. Abdominal strength plus 2,000. Sit-up mastery plus 1,000. Biological level upgraded. Intermediate level 5. Zishan was stunned. He never expected such a breakthrough. The more he thought about it, the more excited he became. Level 5 was the stage where one could already contend with a fully grown giant mutant rat. If he kept training like this, tearing one apart barehanded might not be impossible. After leveling up, he went to an empty stretch of beach to test his stats. His 100-meter sprint dropped to 3.64 seconds, and his vertical jump reached 6.98 meters. He could lift a car weighing around 1,600 kilograms with one hand. Compared to when he first entered the intermediate stage, the improvement was enormous. With these results, Zishan officially began his high school life. The girls in his class whispered excitedly, "Oh, you're in Zishan's class? He's really handsome. So lucky. He's on duty the same day as us." Zishan was surprised. He and Shun Qinghan had been assigned early duty, but he didn't expect his new classmates to already know him. What surprised him even more was that this duty assignment triggered a new mission. System notification. You have completed 1,000 cooperative multiplayer tasks. Reward, biological attribute, amphibious animal. Progress. 1/1000 completed. Zishan was intrigued. He had no idea what the amphibious animal trait actually did, but it sounded promising. With the new school year just starting and little to do, the Grim Reaper decided to take advantage of his free time and visit the supermarket. The Devil Squid skill had already been unlocked, so it was time to set a new goal. Suddenly, an item caught his eye. A bold eagle weighing 1 gene, priced at 1,998 yuan. Zishan picked it up with interest. It was exactly what he wanted. The bold eagle was a rare beast, stronger than the devil squid. Its eyesight was terrifying, around 30 times sharper than a normal human's, giving it incredible hunting ability. It could even precisely track rare mutant rabbits on the verge of disappearing. Sitting at his desk later, Zishan thought it through. Enhanced vision could drastically improve combat efficiency. Based on the description alone, the bold eagle's abilities were absolutely worth unlocking. More importantly, its meat was relatively affordable, the second cheapest among rare beasts at 1,998 yuan per kilogram. After checking through the system, Zishan was shocked. 1 kilogram only increased the unlock progress by 1%. That meant he would need 200,000 yuan to fully unlock the Bold Eagle's skill set. It looked like he'd need to work even harder during high school. The higher the tier, the greater the cost. He had to unlock the Bold Eagle's abilities before his second year began. Summer break ended, and he officially stepped into high school life at Sunhai High School. On the first day of the semester, the principal and teachers began their introductions. Hello everyone. I'm Han Yuanfeng, your homeroom teacher. I'm Tai Tianfei, instructor for mechanical repairs. I'm Lu De, teacher for fusion envy studies. He's a senior instructor for wilderness survival. Then it was the students' turn. Hi everyone, I'm Su Yushi. I specialize in music, poetry, and painting. I'm Zhong Yijia. I like anime, cosplay, and sports. I'm Peng Huguang. When I'm free, I usually stay home and play games. And just like that, it was finally your turn. Shin Qinghan stood up to introduce herself. Being stared at by so many people made her extremely nervous. Hi everyone. My name is Shin Qinghan. I like drawing and coloring, and I hope I can learn a lot from all of you. Her introduction was probably the shortest in the room, hard to beat in simplicity. Next, Zishan spoke calmly. Hello everyone. I'm Lam Zishun. I look forward to learning with you all. Time passed quickly. Just as everyone finished introducing themselves, the bell rang. Suo Xian suddenly asked, Qinghan, about the entrance exam. How many points did you score on the high school entrance exam? Qinghan turned toward her, surprised. She answered shyly, I got 709 points. What about you, Suo Xian? Suo Xian's eyes lit up. Wow, you beat me by 10 points. I only got 698. How did you do on the fitness test? I did terribly, only 95 points. Hearing that, Qinghan felt her heart sink. The fitness test was out of 100 points, 95 was already genius level. She herself had only scored 79, a full 16 points lower. That was something she really couldn't say out loud. I'm not as good as you, she said quietly. Suo Xian tilted her head. So what did you get? 94? Or 93? Qinghan's voice dropped further. A bit lower. Suo Xian kept guessing 92? 91? 90? Just as the questions continued, someone suddenly slammed the desk, making her jump. Zishan stepped forward, holding up his phone. Can I add you on WeChat? Suo Xian blushed. Sure. Just scan mine. Inside, she was thrilled. This handsome guy actually added me. What kind of lucky day is this? Zishun and Qinghan exchanged a glance, and she felt quietly relieved. Luckily, Zishan had stepped in. If he hadn't interrupted, she wouldn't have known how to answer. It was so embarrassing. Soon after, Zishan took his phone and walked around. Let's add each other too. Sure. Scan me. After adding contacts, Zishin created a WeChat group with 4 people. Surprisingly, he even managed to add one more member. The mission required teamwork, and this task could be completed simply through cooperation. As the group chatted, they quickly got to know one another. Hayu was from the nearby Nam Quan city, a rich young master from a famous martial arts family. He had already won 8 awards and was considered a prodigy of the Guangzhou Miaozu lineage. Li Suo Xian came from a family that owned multiple clothing stores. She was a true little heiress. Zishin and Shin Qinghan also briefly shared their backgrounds. Before long, the 4 of them became close, able to talk freely. Just as they were about to end the conversation, Hayu suddenly said, Guess who's the strongest person in our class? You'll never guess. Suo Xian pointed immediately. It must be Zishin. He topped the district entrance exam. Hayu froze. Seriously? Zishin is that strong? But the regional top scorer must be way ahead. Still, unbelievable. Our class actually has 2 monsters. The principal spent a lot to recruit them from Nam Quan City. He pointed discreetly. The guy by the window, 3rd row on the left, that's Wang Thursday Kiet. He was first in Nam Quan district. His 100-meter sprint is 7.89 seconds. And the big guy in the far right back row, Luke Kwang. He has natural strength and can lift 300 kilograms with one hand. Qinghan looked impressed. That really did sound incredible. Suo Xian covered her mouth in shock. Is that real? Zishan sighed quietly, feeling reassured. A 100-meter dash under 8 seconds and lifting 300 kg. Those are still beginner-level stats for me. Soon, the bell rang again and books were distributed. 4 textbooks for the main courses. Since Zishan had already self-studied all of them as a child, he found a quiet corner to train during free periods. After all, the rat god cult was still a looming threat. The police had only captured a few heretics so far, with no trace of the Rat King. Zishan decided he needed to push himself past the 6th level to face what was coming. That afternoon's first practical class was wilderness survival, focusing on scouting skills. The instructor asked, "Does anyone know how to make fire by rubbing sticks together?" Hayu laughed. "That's useless in daily life. Who even learns that?" He was immediately shut down by the others. Soon, everyone started practicing. Zishan watched with interest. So rubbing wood together really can start a fire. Luke Kwong smiled proudly. "Teacher, I learned this during a summer extracurricular class in middle school." Wang Thursday Kiet added, "I taught myself online back in elementary school." After the two from Nam Quan finished demonstrating, the others followed suit. Before long, Zishan also began teaching the group how to start a fire by friction. Later, when martial arts class turned into a stage for the Nam Quan students to show off, instructor Yuan Feng spoke up. "Today, I'll teach you a special breathing technique." Unexpectedly, the two students replied in unison, "Teacher, we already learned that." Sounded funny, but they really could do it. Even though Zishan already knew these techniques, staying humble was second nature to him. Before anyone realized it, more than a month had passed, and Yuan Feng finally said, "It's already been over a month. Since the new school term had officially begun, it was time to evaluate everyone's progress. For this exam, the teacher even prepared cash rewards: 88 yuan for first place, 666 yuan for second, and 333 yuan for third. It surprised everyone there was actual prize money involved. The top reward was almost enough to buy half a kilogram of spicy wild duck meat. With incentives like that, the entire class put in serious effort during the 1-hour test. Coincidentally, the integration instructor overseeing this exam was Ms. Liu. Teacher Duk Nen also held a test using the exact same prize structure. He explained that since it had been over a month since school started, it was time to check everyone's learning results. Once the exam ended, he slumped over his desk with relief. Finally, it's over. The classroom immediately filled with complaints. Why was it so hard? That last question didn't even make sense. Most students had hoped for 90 points, but this time even getting 60 felt like a victory. Just as the groaning continued, the two-man group from Nam Quan started boasting among themselves. Wang Thursday Kiet said, "That test was brutal. How did you do?" Luke Kwong replied, "I think I got around 95. The last question was tricky though." "What about you?" "Same here. I guessed the last one and still got 95. Hearing this, Havu clenched his fists in frustration. "What's the point of showing off like that? I seriously want to punch them right now." At that moment, Duk Nan began announcing the results. Mechanical engineering scores are out. Guyenling scored 52. Shun Qinghan scored 61. Qinghan turned back happily. "Looks like I passed too. Congrats to us. Hard work really does pay off." The teacher continued. Havu scored 88. The class turned toward him in admiration. "Havu, that's impressive." Duk Nan praised him warmly. "Excellent work. I have high expectations for you." Havu smiled confidently. "Just lucky. I happened to get questions I knew." Then he added cheerfully, "Once I get the 333 yuan third prize, I'll treat everyone." "Very good." The teacher continued. Luke Kwong and Wang Thursday Kiet both scored 95. "You two did extremely well. Just one more question and it would have been perfect." Luke Kwong said proudly, "Teacher, that last question needed more calculation." Give me 10 more minutes and I'd solve it for sure. The teacher nodded. I believe you both have that ability. Hearing this, Havu felt annoyed. They were acting superior again. Still, he reassured himself, third place is mine. Then the teacher dropped a bombshell. This test was difficult, but believe it or not, someone in our class got a perfect score. Lam Zixin scored 100 points. Wang Thursday Kiet froze in disbelief. How is that even possible? Luke Kwong felt chills run down his spine. Even the two top students from Namquan had been beaten. Lam Zixin was terrifyingly strong, and on top of that he stole Havu's third-place prize. Next time, I'm not backing down. Havu swore silently. Qinghan praised softly. Zixin is amazing. Suoxian added. Sun Hai really shines. Zixin raised his hand and asked casually. So, when will Teacher Tai give out the 88 yuan first prize? Duknan laughed. Don't worry. I'll send the prize to the class group in a red envelope. He thought to himself, this kid really cares about the money? Is he that broke? Just an hour later, the genetics test results were announced. Nguyen Phi said, all right everyone, scores are out. The top results are Ha Vu and Luke Kwong with 81 points, and Wang Thursday Kiet with 83 points. Considering how hard the test was, these were excellent scores. Their sharpness was undeniable, and neither of them tried to hide their satisfaction. Shen Qinghan scored 78 points, likely placing her in the top 5. As usual, Zixin once again achieved a perfect score and pocketed the prize money. Ha Vu, Wang Thursday Kiet, and Luke Kwong took a serious hit to their pride. One muttered, that test was insane. How could anyone get full marks? Another joked, maybe he saw the answers beforehand? An older student immediately snapped back, impossible. Absolutely impossible. I designed all the questions myself. You can't find the answers anywhere online. Both of them were stunned. Havu burst out laughing. I was just joking. If you can't do it, you can't, that's fine. But losing and then accusing others of cheating? That's just embarrassing. Suo Xian agreed. Exactly. Wang Thursday Kiet is so uncultured, always stirring up trouble. She glanced at the clock. Lunch break feels way too short now. That afternoon, first-year students had a wilderness survival assessment. Instructor Jin Boy announced the rewards. First prize, 1,888 yuan. Second prize, 66 yuan. Third prize, 33 yuan. The test consisted of 3 parts: mountain climbing, swimming, and starting a fire by friction. Wang Thursday Kiet frowned in frustration. Luke Kwong said firmly, we lost the theory tests this morning. This afternoon, we take back our dignity. Havu nodded. No need to say more. I'm in. He was determined to defeat Zixin and wash away the earlier humiliation. Soon, the test began. The first challenge was tree and mountain climbing, scored based on speed. As expected, Lam Zixin took first place in mountain climbing. The male supervisor Song Hong was left far behind. The others fell silent. Not because Zixin was showing off, but because they had gone all out and still couldn't even catch sight of his back. In the end, Lam Zixin claimed first place in the tree climbing challenge as well. At the moment, Death's attention was actually on Shen Qinghan. She hadn't even finished the climbing section yet, so it was no surprise she ended up last. Still, it wasn't a big deal. She could regain her confidence during the swimming segment. As for the next intense phase, if Death wanted to secure rewards, he would have to face the 2 male supervisors working together. Both of them shared the same thought. How did Lam Zixin suddenly become so fast? His hand speed was terrifying. They clearly remembered that he hadn't been this quick before. In class, Lam Zixin completed the fire-making challenge in 58 seconds. The final event was swimming, and once again Lam Zixin crushed the 2 supervisors, Song Hang included, dealing them a serious psychological blow. It wasn't that they didn't understand why Lam Zixin was so fast, but why had Shen Qinghan suddenly exploded with such performance? I must have been too nervous and made mistakes, one of them thought. After the wilderness survival results were announced, Wang Thursday Kiet and Luke Kwong fell completely silent. They didn't say a word for a long time. In return, the class finally enjoyed a peaceful lunch. Peaceful because the afternoon martial arts class reignited their hope. Instructor Vien Fong spoke up. You've all been training in martial arts for over a month now. Today is the assessment. The test will be sparring matches in the arena, and prizes will be awarded to the top 3. Everyone's expressions sharpened. What about written exams or wilderness survival? In martial arts class, none of that mattered. Combat strength was everything. If you couldn't win a sparring match, nothing else counted. Before the matches began, Han Vien Fong had already arranged everything. First came the physical assessment meant as a warm-up. It tested 3 things: 100-meter sprint, barbell weight, and standing vertical jump. Lam Zixin completed the 100 meters in 7.78 seconds. For weightlifting, he casually raised 330 kilograms, and his standing vertical jump reached 2.18 meters. He ranked first in all 3 categories. However, Zixin deliberately held back. He didn't want to show off. He was worried the so-called newcomers might appear even faster if he went all out. Still, the others' results, being top of the district, already felt unrealistic. Luke Kwong was frightening, yet Lam Zixin didn't seem fully serious either. Could it be that their bodies simply hadn't completely developed yet? Someone tried to reassure them. Luke Kwong, don't panic. Failing the physical test doesn't mean it's over. Fighting isn't only about brute strength. Technique matters. We still have a chance. Another added, exactly. We're already ahead of our peers. There's still hope. Once the physical tests ended, everyone moved to the ring area in the gym for sparring. Zixin thought to himself, if I want to finish this quickly, I have to stay ahead. But since his physical scores were overwhelming, no one dared to challenge him. Even Nam Quan Song Hang chose to observe from the sidelines. As time dragged on, the instructor's patience thinned. Folding his arms, he ordered, Luo Wei, go spar with Zixin. The named student stepped into the ring, sweating nervously. To save time, Zixin knew he had to end it fast, to make sure everyone finished before dismissal. And since these were one-on-one matches, Lam Zixin accelerated his pace. From that point on, anyone who entered the ring was knocked out in a single exchange. Wang Thursday Kiet froze. No way. Is Lam Zixin really this strong? Luke Kwong's face turned pale. Felt like Zixin wasn't even trying. At this rate, someone else had to step up. After a brief pause, Havu leaped into the ring and shouted, Luke Kwong, I'm warmed up now and at my peak. You dare fight me? Luke Kwong replied coolly, it only took me 30 seconds to take you down last time. Honestly, I was relieved. If you hadn't challenged me, I might have had to face Lam Zixin. I'm not sure I could beat him, but there's no way I can't beat you. Havu charged forward aggressively, pressing the attack non-stop. Unfortunately, Luke Kwong easily caught Havu's leg, spun him around until he was dizzy, and then slammed him out of the ring with a clean throw. Havu flew out, vomiting uncontrollably. Luke Kwong boasted arrogantly, Havu's stamina is the best among those I fought, but sadly, mine is on another level. At that moment, Death stepped into the ring. All right, let's go. This was the perfect opportunity to improve. If he didn't step up now, no one else would dare. Luke Kwong sneered. Bring it on. He raised his fist and rushed forward at full speed. Luke Kwong moved like lightning, but Death remained calm. With a slight tilt of his body, he dodged effortlessly. Luke Kwong was stunned. So fast. In the next instant, a single strike sent Luke Kwong flying out of the ring. The crowd erupted. Wang Thursday Kiet, your brother's getting wrecked. Why aren't you avenging him? Yeah, the pride of Nam Quan needs you. Don't be a coward. Get in there, Wang Thursday Kiet. Fueled by the shouts, Wang Thursday Kiet jumped into the ring. What are you yelling for? I was planning to step in anyway. Come at me with everything you've got. Wang Thursday Kiet stared at Zixin, trying to steady himself. Whatever happens,